So, what if self-doubt was actually a blessing? Let's talk about that. Hey ladies, I'm Jaylene with Your Next 40 Years, and I'm just here to inspire you to live bold in these next decades of life. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in and you want to be a part of, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you get notified each week when I put up a new video. So the term self-doubt brings up a lot of feelings of inadequacy, right? Maybe you have these dreams of living bigger, but self-doubt just kind of creeps in and dampens your excitement about actually taking action. I am a life coach. I have a master's degree in business. I own my own business and I've been running it successfully from home for the last 6 years. I've been able to keep my kids out of daycare. And I have battled self-doubt every step of the way. In fact, I probably could have gotten to where I am now twice as fast if I didn't have self-doubt to deal with and to get past at every turn. But thankfully, I have learned some techniques and some tips and some tricks that have helped me get past and get through all of that self-doubt and achieve the goals and live the life that I feel successful and inspired by. And so that's what I want to talk with you about today. I want to share some of those tips and tricks that I have learned along the way in the hopes that they will help you to move through your self-doubt and live bigger and bolder. So first, I think it's important for us to dive into where self-doubt comes from and how it really begins inside of us. Self-doubt tells us all kinds of stories about who we are and what we can do, and those stories come from years of conditioning. These are doubts that have been kind of carried with you throughout your life, and different experiences and different attempts at trying things have influenced that self-doubt and how strong it really gets inside of you. And all of that conditioning and all of those stories start with a single thought. Just one thought that creeps into your head. This is how it goes. So let's say the thought is, I'm not good at losing weight. That's the thought that kind of pops into your head. And then the next step after having that thought is there's an emotion attached to it. So let's say you think, I'm not good at losing weight, and then you think, I'm going to try this diet and just see what happens. And you try the diet, and after a week, you don't lose the weight that you thought you were going to, and you're completely depressed and disheartened, and those emotions get attached to that thought of, I'm not good at losing weight. Now, once a thought and an emotion find each other, they become a belief. So now you believe, I am not good at losing weight. And so you've started to tell yourself this story. And every time there's an opportunity to start a diet plan or maybe train for a marathon or, anything that would inspire you to begin with losing weight, that belief comes in, that self-doubt comes in and tells you, I'm not good at losing weight. You've tried, you felt disappointment and disheartenment, and you now believe that you are not good at doing it. So that belief that you have is the evidence that your mind uses to prove that you're never going to lose weight. You're not good at it, so it's never going to happen. So then you don't try. And this cycle, this is just kind of a little micro portion of this cycle. There's other steps that go with it. But I only want to talk about this portion today because this is really the part that influences the self-doubt. This is where the stories begin. And so those little beliefs start getting planted as seeds. And so suddenly you're not trying to lose weight. And then maybe another thought creeps in that says, I'm terrible at my job. And an emotion gets attached to that. And so then suddenly you don't try looking for a new job or branching out into a new career. Maybe, I'm not good at public speaking jumps into your head and an emotion is attached to that. And so then suddenly you don't try to lead meetings or move into different careers that might require you to talk in front of people and there's, bigger beliefs that can come from this process also that really hold us back and really create, things like anxiety and depression and those kind of big, mental health issues that can really keep us back and hold us down from living the big, bold life that we know that we can. So what do we do about all of this? How can we stop this from happening? If it's our thought and our belief or our emotions that are creating these beliefs, then there must be something that we can do about it, right? Yes, there is. There is something we can do about it. And it all starts with that single thought that comes into your head. And the most powerful work that I have found to help prevent that thought from becoming a belief is the work with Byron Katie. And she is an exceptional human being, and she has this huge wealth of information and knowledge about this subject. And I will put a link to her website in the description for this video. And she takes you through this process of 4 questions to ask yourself about that thought. So let's jump into what those questions are. So the first question is, ask yourself, is it true? When that thought jumps into your head, ask yourself, is it true? And you can do this with a journal that's very, very powerful, where you can actually write down the question and answer it yourself. And basically, this is just meant to kind of stop you in your tracks. Like, the thought has jumped into your head, stop. Just stop and be with that thought for a minute. Is it true? So, I'm not good at losing weight. Is that true? Well, I've tried several times in the past and I didn't lose weight, so I'm not good at losing weight. Okay, well, you've asked yourself, is it true? And you're still telling yourself that story. So what's the next level of this work? And the next level is ask yourself, can you absolutely know that it's true? I'm not good at losing weight. Is it true? Well, I've tried in the past and I didn't lose as much as I thought I should have, so I'm not good at losing weight. Can you absolutely know that it's true? Well, I did lose some weight, just not as much as I thought I should have, so I guess I can't absolutely know that it's true. You see how this you're starting to kind of analyze this story and this thought before any of the other emotions are attached to it. Any other evidence is found to prove that you are allowed to tell yourself that story. So the next question is, what happens when you believe that that is true? How do you feel? What impact does it have on your life to believe that story, to believe that thought? And this is a really, really powerful question to ask yourself because it starts to kind of help you analyze the cause and the effect and the pros and the cons and the benefits and the risk. So if you're telling yourself, I'm not good at losing weight, what happens when you believe that thought? What impact does that have on your life? How does that make you feel? And is the impact and the way that it makes you feel worth believing that that thought is true? Especially when you've answered, can I absolutely know that it's true, with maybe not. Maybe I can't absolutely know that it's true. You see? These questions are really, really, really powerful because you're starting to really break down your thinking about this belief and this story that you've been telling yourself all along for however many years. And that belief and that story that you're telling yourself, they're having a really big impact on your life. And I'm assuming it's a negative impact because you're here listening to this video. So really think about what happens when you believe that that thought is true. All right, quick deep breath, quick check-in. We're going through some heavy stuff here. I just want to see how all of this is resonating with you, if this is making you kind of question your thoughts and your stories. And if you feel inspired, let me know in the comments, what is your number one limiting belief right now? What is the number one thought that is really kind of getting in the way of you coming out in front and living that big, bold, beautiful life that you are called to live? Let me know in the comments if you would. And if this video is making a difference and helping you to kind of question some of these things, give it a like, share it with any of your other midlife ladies, and hopefully we can really start a conversation around this. So the last question that I want you to ask yourself is, who could I be without that thought? So you've asked yourself, is it true? And you've asked yourself, can I absolutely know that it's true? And there's a little bit of wavering there, a little bit of maybe considering the idea that it's not 100% true. And you've thought through what happens when you believe it and the risk and the impact that that has. So what if you just didn't believe it? Who could you be? Who could you be in your life if you chose to not believe that story and to reframe or rework it so that I am good at losing weight? I did lose 5 pounds in a week, or 3 pounds in a week, or whatever it was. I am good at losing weight. If I stick with my program and get the support and the resources and information that I need, it will happen. I will lose weight. I will get to my goal weight. And I use lose weight as, a general thought, but this works with any thought that's kind of coming into your mind that is really getting in the way and preventing you from living bigger. So who could you be without that thought and without that story and without that belief? You can undo that belief. You can take that belief out of your head and replace it with a new one. A positive belief, a belief that inspires you and that motivates you to take action and to make those lifestyle changes that will all work together to make the big life changes that you're dreaming of. So who could you be without that story? Think about that and write it down. Answer it. So again, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get in between the thought and the emotion so that they don't become a belief. And that's what these 4 questions help you to do. So I really hope that you implement this and that you just work through it for at least one thought that is really getting in your way. Just one thought. Take these 4 questions, take it through these 4 questions, and just see what happens. And let me know what happens. Let me know in the comments. And let's, start a conversation about this, because I think it's really, really important to believe and to understand and to know that you can change all of this for yourself. I also know that it's not always easy to stay consistent and to do the daily rituals and the daily habits that you need to do to make your life different. So that is why I have created a free workbook. It's a little tool that will help you show up for your goals each day. And it's yours. You can just go over to yournext40years.com/ritual tracker and download it. And it will help you create that accountability that you need to show up each day for your goals, for your tasks and your rituals. That, you know, when you show up and when you do these things, it's the little changes that you make on a daily basis that will all come together to create those big, massive changes. And this ritual tracker will help you show up and actually do and make those little changes. So yournext40years.com/ritual tracker, go download it and start using it. So if you liked this video, please let me know by liking and commenting, and share it with any of your midlife ladies who you think that it might help. I so appreciate you and your time, and thank you so much for being here with me today. And I am really looking forward to seeing you in the next video.